yeah, that's that. Now the big controversy. This shit. College football. Okay, so college football just released their like who's going to the playoffs, right? Now, I don't even know, bro. I was so confused by this because I'm like, who the fuck should go? Right? And obviously I'm thinking, yeah, Michigan should go, even though I fucking hate Michigan. But they're 13-0, so they deserve to go. Washington deserves to go. And Florida deserves to go, right? Those are like the top three. I'm like, obviously they're like 13-0, they're undefeated, right? The thing I did not see was that a team called Liberty U was also undefeated. But they didn't really play anyone of depth, so I understand why they're not going to the college playoffs, right? But they're undefeated as well, right? So that's something I did not realize as well, that a team called Liberty U, I don't even know where the school is. It's Liberty, right? They're undefeated as well, and they're not going to the college playoffs. It is what it is, right? In my head, I'm thinking, oh, the top best teams go. The top four best teams go, right? So in my head, I'm thinking this is so easy. You have four undefeated teams. Let all four undefeated teams go play in the fucking in the playoffs. I was like, this is the most easiest decision ever. Like, y'all don't gotta worry about shit. I'm like, this is so easy, bro. You can like, hey, yeah, we got four undefeated teams. Let the four undefeated teams go and battle it out to see who's better. I'm like, all right, bet. Right? So that means yes, Texas wouldn't have been involved. That means yes, Alabama wouldn't have been involved either. Right? Now, my lineup for this, how I think this should have gone, right? Obviously, yes, it's fucked up that Florida isn't going, right? I think it's very fucked up. In my opinion, I had the first time I did this going around, I had Michigan, Washington, Florida, and Texas going. That was what I had automatically from the rip. I was like, that is what's gonna happen, right? I was like, Alabama can't go because Alabama, yes, Alabama beat the number one team, but they also lost to Texas, right? So I'm like, there's no way Alabama can go, right? I was like, you lost to Texas. Texas lost to Washington. Washington hasn't lost to anyone. So that's why I was basing it off like, oh yeah, Texas has to go. And then Texas is like the one exception that is going because of whatever else, right? And you could make the decision like, oh, Georgia probably should have gone as well and like kick Texas out, but then that wouldn't have been fair because then that made Alabama's win to Georgia not mean anything as well. So that's why I was like, oh, the best option right now is Texas to go. Right now, the second time I went over this, I was like, okay, I'm like thinking about like all the stuff that like Florida has done this year. I'm like, they were kind of like they were struggling a little bit towards the end, but they were still winning their games at the end of the day, right? So just for like hypothetical, let's say Georgia or let's say Florida doesn't go, right? Or well, it's not hypothetical. They're not going, which is fucked up. But let's say like it's Michigan, Washington, and Texas. Now, this is going to sound really bad if you know me in real life. I was saying that Ohio State should go because the only reason why I was saying that is that, yes, Florida would get kicked out and they would go to the Orange Bowl. The only reason why I was saying that Ohio State should go was because then you have Texas who lost to Washington. What do you mean, no? Listen, let me finish my thought. So what I would have said would have been Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Ohio State. The only reason why I'm saying this is because Texas lost to Washington, right? That was their only loss. Ohio State lost to Michigan, right? That was their also only loss, right? Alabama lost to Texas, so Alabama's not going, and then Georgia lost to Alabama. So I'm like, nah, they're not going either. And then I was like, oh, the whole Florida thing about their fucking injuries and shit like that. But also at the end of the day, I had two scenarios in my head about who should go, right? And those are like my two brackets. Either it was Florida in and then Alabama's not, or it was Florida's out and then Ohio State's in their place instead of Alabama as well. Now, do I think Alabama should be in it right now? Fuck no. I think it's complete bullshit. I was like, Alabama does not deserve to go to the college playoffs right now. You lost to Texas, and now you're getting another shot to go. And I'm like, that's fucked up. You shouldn't go, right? If anything, right? If anything, if you want to make the argument of like who should go instead of Florida, then fucking put in Georgia. Let them go fucking try and see if they can battle to get their championship and have a third time going again. But if anything, there's no other reason for anybody else besides Florida or Georgia to go in. Alabama should not have that fourth seat. I think that that's complete ludicrous. I don't understand why they got in there. But everyone's like, oh, an SEC team has to be in the college championship. Since when? When the fuck is that in your bylaws that an SEC team has to go? You guys have made this notion in your head that the SEC is the best conference, which is debatable depending on, compared to this year, the SEC ain't that great, right? But people have made this notion that the SEC is best, that they're the best, so they have to go, that there has to be at least one SEC team in there. I'm like, there's no way that there's anything in your bylaws. If your bylaws said, hey, we have 6 conferences, at least one team from each conference has to go. So it's like, two or like, so 4 out of the 6, it has to be one team from each, then I would understand that. But it's not like that. It's complete opposite. You guys don't have any rules saying that. Now, stating that like next year it's not even going to be a 4 playoff thing. I think, what is it? It's like 12 or something. It's like the best top, or is it the top 12 teams? Yeah, it's like the best top 12 teams would go to fight to see who gets a playoff spot. So it's like in a bracket system instead of like anything else, which makes perfect sense, and that there shouldn't be anything else. But like, I feel like this is kind of weird because like, yes, this is like a archaic situation where like even like I was watching the videos bro online, bro. Michigan was over here saying that like this shit was crazy. They're like, wait, Alabama's going? Like, whoa. And Washington's like, I've never even heard of Washington until this year. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then you have fucking Texas as well. And I'm like, all right, it is what it is. But yeah, this is like a whole bunch of shit. But hopefully next year this solves everything, bro. Like I don't know for like the future of college football. I know a lot of people are pissed off about this, and warranted too, that they deserve to be pissed off, because like there's 100% proof to back that. Like I don't see there's any other fucking reason for there not to be someone pissed off about this. At least like in my head, I would be pissed off about me doing everything possible in my grasp, or doing everything possible that I could to do what I was supposed to, and did exactly what I was told to do. And that like my coach said, hey, as long as we go undefeated, we will go to college national championships. And now my thing is being stripped away about 13 fucking old ass men in a fucking boardroom telling me, hey, no, you can't go. Why? So yes, it's fucked up. I feel very bad for Florida fans. I feel very bad for people in Florida. I've been to Florida. Florida is a really good state. Or it is to a point. the Florida man shit's kind of crazy, but it is upsetting, and I do understand their pain about that. They should at least been number 3 and Texas number 4. It's fucked up, definitely. But they're going to the Orange Bowl. They're gonna play against Georgia. If they go and they beat Georgia, in my opinion, I feel like for this year, no matter what happens, how do I explain this? So this is what I'm gonna say. For this year, for the college football 2024 season, if Florida goes to play, or when Florida goes to play Georgia in the Orange Bowl, if they beat Georgia in the Orange Bowl, I want everyone, and this is just me personally, I want everyone to unequivocally announce that that Florida State is the national football champions of 2024. I don't want anyone else to say, oh, but they weren't in the actual playoffs, so they don't count. So the person who actually won the playoffs is the actual, if it's like Michigan or Washington or Texas or Alabama. I don't want anyone to say shit. I wanted everyone to know that it will be Florida, and that will be it. It is Florida, or that if Florida wins against Georgia, Florida wins the National Football Championship. That's what I want, at least, because I'm like, yo, you guys got robbed, like robbed bad. I feel so bad because we're like, yo, y'all got fucked. Caleb, what do you think about the college? Well, I guess I already got Alex's fucking take on the college football stuff. What do you think about it?
Oh, the playoffs?
Yeah.
From Caleb.
Oh, dude, I think it's fucking ridiculous that Florida State isn't going. I think it's a fucking I think it's a travesty, and the fucking every single person on the committee should be fired. I think it's ridiculous.
Alex, did you say no because I said I think Ohio State should have gone if Florida didn't go?
Yeah, you were saying Ohio.
No, Ohio State shouldn't have gone. But also, Bama shouldn't have gone.
So the only reason why I said Ohio should have gone was because...
And you kept on saying Florida, not Florida State.
Oh, same shit, bro.
No. It's not same shit.
The only reason why I was saying Ohio should go was because if we want to base it off of like, how do I explain this? If we wanted to like base it off of like whatever so-and-so called thing that I don't even know why, but like in my head, I was thinking that they're basing it off of like who lost to like two good teams, I guess, or whatever. That's why they put Alabama there. But like in my head, I was thinking, I was like, okay, Texas lost to Washington, right? And then Ohio State lost to Michigan.
Texas didn't lose to Washington. Texas lost to Oklahoma.
Texas lost to Washington. That was their only loss.
Texas lost to Oklahoma. That was their only loss. Texas doesn't play Washington. They're out of conference.
Oh, that was their bowl game last year. Okay.
Yeah. Oregon lost to Washington in the championship.
I guess I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, mind. I thought that was who they lost to, but I guess it's not true. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. Let's put Ohio. If that's what I was thinking, I was like, oh, if Texas lost to Washington and then Michigan or Ohio State lost to Michigan, then just put those two teams against each other to rebattle it out to see who's actually good again. But then that logic doesn't make sense anyways now. It's because I was just debunked.
As much as I don't want Texas to go, I think it should have been Michigan. It should have been fucking... Who was it? It's Michigan, then... who's the other person? The other undefeated team?
Michigan, Washington, Florida.
Yeah, so it should have been Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and then Texas coming in at number 4. Even though I don't want Texas to go.
I'm fine with that, actually. That's not too bad.
That's what everyone was like, that's what it's gonna be. And then the committee was like, nah, joke's on you. Bama's going and Florida State isn't.
Is being kicked out, right?
Literally, the reason that they gave was that Florida State's starting quarterback got hurt.
And in my head, when I hear that too,
that past 2 games, including the championship, and won by a comfortable margin without their fucking starting quarterback.
And I'm like, bro, when the fuck does that have to do? Like, when the fuck does football, a team game, have to do with one player? Exactly. And people are over here saying like, oh, the quarterback's the most important player. Okay, we lost our starting quarterback and we still won. So he's not the most important player. Well, like, I know that sounds fucked up, but like, it is what it is.
Well, everybody's saying that they they don't want to repeat of TCU because last year TCU.
I understand. I 100% understand not doing another TCU. Like, I get that, but like, what do you like? Yeah, it's only. I guess I can't say it's only fair, but it technically is. They won their whole division.
Dude, yeah, they're undefeated. They won the championship. God damn it, they won the championship and everything.
And it's not like they didn't fight hard teams, bro. They fought really difficult teams.
They played Clemson, who's been in the playoffs multiple times. They played Florida, their rival, at home without their starting quarterback and won.
They played Duke. They played fucking Wake Forest, which I've never heard about until today, or yesterday. But
literally, if you one of the stats that ESPN put up trying to defend it was like, well, if you look at compared to Florida State compared to Alabama, their strength of record or their strength of achievement, Florida State's number 3 and Alabama's number 5. But if you look at their strength of roster, which is a fucking stat that should have never been created ever, apparently the strength of roster makes Florida State go to number 55, which is fucking retarded to even say. Like, what the fuck is strength of roster? That's insane.
Like
that's even a fucking thing that they take into account.
Like before this even fucking released, like I found out that there were 4 teams that went undefeated. So I'm like, if there's 4 teams that went undefeated, then put those 4 teams in. Like that's so easy.
4? I thought there was only 3.
There's 4. There's a team called Liberty that's like I think almost like a D2 school.
Well, fucking yeah, Liberty's not going to be in the playoffs. They're not They're not even D1.
But like I'm like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they're ranked. I mean, they're ranked. What are they? They're ranked number 18th, which is fucked up in itself. I'm like, you went undefeated and you're still ranked that low. But
dude, no, literally, like Florida State did legitimately everything within their power to go to the playoffs and get ranked and everything. They won every single fucking game they could, and for them to just be like, oh, because this one player is not on your team, is not playing right now, you don't have a chance. That's fucking disgusting, dude.
I think it's crazy that they keep saying that, like, oh, the SEC team has to go, and I'm like, why? That's not in your rule book.
Why? The SEC was not that good this year. Georgia was good. Georgia was number 1, and then they lost in the championship. Bama was fucking 8. Bro, the SEC was not a fucking Power 5 this year.
And the SEC was actually pretty terrible this year for me. Like, especially with like LSU and all these other teams, bro. They were fucking terrible.
That's what everyone's saying. And it just goes to show how fucking bullshit and bureaucratic everything is, and how they're literally just like, literally someone was like, all you have to do to get into the playoffs is win at least 2 games and be Bama.
That technically is what they've proved.
Yeah, if you're Bama, you're gonna go to the playoffs, unless Bama literally loses every fucking game, and even then they'd probably still go because strength of team. What the fuck does that mean? Obviously their team wasn't very strong because they didn't fucking win all their games. They lost to Texas.
Bro, they were struggling, bro. They were struggling to be very bad this year.
They barely fucking beat Auburn by a fucking last-minute mistake play by the defense.
Like, it was really bad, bro. Like, they were, like, after the game with Texas, bro, they started struggling really bad, bro. Like, they played South Florida and only beat them by 17. They played Mississippi, only beat them by 24. And, like, it got to a point where I'm like, bro, like, you guys are, like, fucking struggling to fucking catch up with your games. They almost lost to fucking Texas A&M and fucking Arkansas.
Dude, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And they're like, oh, they deserve to go better because their roster is stronger. Fuck yourself.
Like, what is it? The Auburn game was won by, what is it, like a field goal or some shit?
No, it was literally a fucking 10-second. They were on the 30-yard line. It was 4th down with like 2 seconds left on the 30-yard line, and by a simple mental mistake on the Auburn defense is the reason why Bama won. Not because of skill, not because they're the better team, but because the other team, Auburn, made a mistake. And it's just fucking ridiculous, dude.
Okay, so from my calculations right now, it looks like Alabama would have lost if they would have like not even pulled it out like slightly. They would have lost 5 games this year.
Exactly.
That's 5. They would have lost to Texas. They would have lost to A&M. They would have lost to Arkansas. They would have lost to Auburn. They would have lost to Georgia.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Literally,
like they're so close.
The only team in the SEC that was even close to being the SEC, amazing level that it's supposed to be was Georgia, because they won out all the way until the last fucking championship game, and they lost by a fucking field goal.
Bro, Georgia was whooping ass this year, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Georgia should have gone infinitely more than Bama. Infinitely.
Like, I would have understood Georgia over Bama. Like, that would have been, like, in my head, would I have been happy about it? Probably not. But I would have understood that they went because they were going to, like, reclaim their title and everything like that. Huh?
Sure.
Yes, it's zombies.
That's fine. See, in my opinion, it should have gone Bama, then Georgia, then UT should have gone at 4th, then Florida State at 3rd. Like, that's the level of, like, that's the rankings of the teams of how it should have gone.
Wait, I'm confused. Say that again.
It should have been, so it's Michigan, Washington, so 1 through 6. would win Michigan, Washington, Florida State, UT, Georgia, Bama.
Okay, yeah, that's completely fair.
Like, I don't understand. It's dude. Literally, almost my entire TikTok feed is just people fucking raging against the committee about how much bullshit this is.
Bro, I thought there was gonna be a riot in Florida, bro.
Dude, no, so I was telling Alex earlier, because like literally, like my entire TikTok feed is just this. There's like talks of them fucking going, like doing some legal shit.
Oh, like appealing and shit.
No, not appealing, because I mean NCAA is a private company and everything, but they're like doing legal, like suing ESPN and Disney for damages, because Disney.
Wait,
Disney,
what
like,
does that have to do with
Florida State
them?
or whatever. So Disney like went out and like badmouthed Florida State or whatever, and so there's talks of Florida State suing ESPN and suing Disney for damages and loss of income from all the merchandise that they would have sold, from the pay that they would have gotten from going to the playoffs.
Wait, does ESPN make the rankings, or does the NCAA make the rankings?
ESPN is the one that makes the fucking rankings. The NCAA, okay, no, the
Wait,
NCAA
what?
makes the ranking. No. So the NCAA makes the rankings. ESPN is the one that's in. I'm pretty sure is the one that's in control of the committee. I'm not positive.
Oh, okay. I was supposed to be like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck does ESPN have to do with shit, though?
Well, even if the NCAA is in control of everything, ESPN and the NCAA are fucking intertwined. Like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So literally, there's talks about them. There's talks about them suing. A lot of people are saying that they fucking that they think that Florida State should not only boycott the Orange Bowl, but go to the Orange Bowl, let the players hang out in Santa Barbara let the players hang out in Santa Barbara for a week, have fun, have the school get paid the per diem for going to the Orange Bowl, and then whenever the game is supposed to happen, just don't come out of the tunnel.
I feel like they can get fined for next year if they don't do that.
Yeah, but even if they did get fined, they would just it would be such a drastic, like, if they're like if they're, the thing that I was reading was like, just say that the players don't, since the committee has decided that the normal season doesn't matter and games played isn't taken into account when it comes to rankings, the players have decided that they refuse to play in the Orange Bowl because they don't want to risk hurting themselves, and just have ESPN have to pay the fucking millions of dollars back to the advertisers and have to deal with the loss of programming on primetime TV. Because it's fucking insane, dude. Because that's why they fucking put Bama in, because it's gonna be more entertaining and they'll get more people to watch.
But what happens if everyone just fucking boycotts the Bama games?
As much as I would love them to, I don't think it's gonna happen. But
because like what I'm thinking is that, like, in my head, like, obviously that's a very smart plan for people to do that. What I would think what should happen would be that if Florida State beats Georgia in the Orange Bowl, that, like, technically, unequivocally, they are the national champions for 2024.
I don't know about that, because I feel like Michigan and Washington still have a thing.
Well, that's the thing, right? They never got a chance to prove it. But if they just beat the number one ranked team, not anymore, but they obviously the number one ranked team for the past 2 years, obviously, like, that proves that they would have been able to compete at that level.
No, yeah, like, I saw this one thing that Drew Brees was saying, like, you know.
Oh yeah, I saw that too, bro. Go fucking battle it out.
Taking 4 weeks, have Bama and Florida State play. And while I agree that would be a good thing, or that would be a good way to figure out who should go between Alabama and Texas or somebody, Florida State should already have an automatic in, so they shouldn't have to fucking duke it out with anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking insane that they're not in it. And for anybody who's like, but their starting quarterback is out. Who gives a fuck?
Bro, this is the thing, bro. If that was to happen, where like people are so pissed off about this game to the point where the NCAA allows that shit, and they're like, "Hey, Florida and Bama are gonna go play against each other," bro, all hell will break loose. Florida will literally dog the fuck out of them, because they would be so pissed off that they're like, "Yo, like this is our one chance we're whooping Bama's ass."
Hello, what the fuck? That was weird.
I don't know. Like Florida would be so pissed off, bro. They would dog the shit out of them, bro.
Oh my god, dude! I just think it's fucking asinine.
Like I wouldn't like expect anything different from them, like not wanting to fucking kick their asses.
Yeah, like literally, what happened to Florida State? It would be equivalent to if, let's say, the Chiefs and the Bills were going for the seventh spot in the playoffs or whatever, the 7th seed or whatever, and the Chiefs had it because they played enough games and won enough games to get it, and then Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and the NFL and the commissioner were like, "Oh, you know, Chiefs, your quarterback got hurt, so we're actually going to give it to the Bills instead, even though you have a better record than them."
Bro, there would be a fucking riot about that shit.
Exactly. It's the same fucking thing.
Shorty got that body out of ya. Get it with no time, set up. You won't tell my vibe. Stand on, they don't know.